I don't know who needs to hear this, but if your mind feels loud, you are not broken. You're just human. Hi, I'm Queen from Sacred Spaces Yoga, and this is Sutra Spotlight, where I walk us through the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So, in Sutra 1.2, Patanjali gives what some may refer to as the goal of yoga. So, it says yoga is the cessation of the fluctuations of the mind. So I once heard this sutra translated as yoga is the softening of the fluctuations of the mind. I like that. Softening. So it's not the erasing of our thoughts. It's not the shutting down of our emotions. It's not even the forced stillness that we think that we're supposed to have or to achieve. It's just softening. Because the mind is always moving. Thoughts rise, they pull, they fade, they return. We replay conversations, we plan 10 steps ahead, we assume, we analyze, we imagine, we create entire scenarios from thin air. Oh, that's just me? That's cool. That's cool. Well, that movement, that fluctuation of the mind, it's called vritti. And vrittis aren't inherently bad. They're simply the natural activity of a living and thinking mind because we're human. So the mind is not the problem. I'm going to say that one more time. Your mind is not the problem. The issue is when we get pulled into the thoughts that rise up, especially the ones that are rooted in old stories and familiar fears. So over time, those thoughts leave imprints or patterns that shape how we move through the world. And the more that we've lived, the more imprints that we carry. We carry memories and teachings and wounds and joys and habits and inherited beliefs. And these imprints, they're called samskaras. And they influence our reactions. They influence how we interpret new experiences. So Sutra 1.2 reminds us that the work isn't to fight our thoughts or to shame our patterns. These samskaras, they hold both beauty and harm because two things can be true at one time. So they carry our resilience, our creativity, our faith, but they also carry the stories and the patterns that we're still unlearning. For example, the habit of pushing through exhaustion, or the belief that doing more makes us worthy. These patterns, these imprints, these thoughts, they become familiar, even when they're heavy and not healthy for us. But familiarity isn't the same as healthy, it's just what we've practiced. And what we have practiced can be unlearned. We have the power to form new impressions, ones that are rooted in truth, in rest, in liberation, in presence. So I know what you're asking. How, Queen? Give me the secret recipe to stop the fluctuation of the mind. First, it's not a secret. Second of all, stopping is not the goal. Remember, the mind will move. That's its nature. The work is in noticing. It's in catching the moments when your thoughts start to pull you out of the present and making the intentional decision to redirect. That path, that journey leads us into Nirodha. Nirodha is the softening. It's the easing our grip on these stories and these patterns that pull us further from our true nature. So inside the Yoga Sutras, this is a book by Reverend Jagannath Carrera. He writes that Nirodha's ability to still the activity of vrittis is not due to brute repression, but a process of selective focus, redirecting and holding attention on one object or idea. Now, Philippians 4:8 echoes this same invitation. It says, fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. In this scripture, Paul wasn't asking us to deny our feelings or pretend that the mind doesn't move. He was teaching us how to gently redirect our attention back toward the truth, back toward the center, back toward peace. That's Nirodha. It's not stopping the thoughts, but it's choosing where to place our attention. And this is the yoga. The yoga that is less about the shape of your body on a mat and more about the shape of your inner world. Sutra 1.2 is not asking us to clear our mind. It's inviting us to be aware. And with that awareness comes space. And with that space comes breath. And with that breath comes a softness that reminds us that we can always return to ourselves, to the divine being that God created us to be. Sutra 1.2, yoga is the softness of the fluctuations of the mind.